Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Kicking It With KeKe, Life, Love, and all that other shit. I am your host, KeKe Chanel, award-winning author and owner of 19 Lifestyle Magazine. Today, I have a very special guest, and we are talking about domestic violence awareness for the month of October. And she is here to share her story, to tell us a little bit about her journey and let you know all the things about her. But y'all know how I like to do. I give my guests the opportunity to introduce themselves. So, Miss Ashley,
Yes.
Dr. Ashley,
Yes, ma'am.
tell the people who you are and what you do.
Yes, ma'am. Well, my name is Dr. Ashley C. Thomas. I am co-pastor along with my husband at Word is Life Ministries here in Picayune, Mississippi. I am an author, entrepreneur. I'm a mom. I am a grandmother. Praise the Lord, of a sweet, sweet, precious 4-year-old that stole my heart.
Oh, I
Yes.
love it.
Um, I am right now in the process of creating a program called Girl Thrive. This is for teenagers and young women for the ages of 15 through 49, those who have been dealing with those type of traumatic situations with domestic violence, dealing with trauma, dealing with spiritual neglect in the church, those who have been hurt in the church as well. So the Girl Thrive mentorship program will be catered to those individuals that have been in those type of situations. I also am the founder of Ladies of Life Women's Ministry here in Picayune, Mississippi, with my husband and I. I this helps. I empower women through this. Um, we have retreats for the women. We have conferences. We have girl night, women night outs, to just to help build up the women. That's my passion, to help women to redefine themselves after the trauma, after whatever. I have been This is my second marriage. I've been divorced, and just to help those women that came out of abusive relationships, because my first marriage was domestic violence. I went through a period of that. I went through physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse in that marriage. And so, yes, so Ladies of Life, if you can find us on social media. Um, Girl Thrive, I'm getting ready to launch that. I haven't really launched it yet to the public. I have launched it to the women in the congregation, but not to the public right now. But I'm getting ready to launch that. I'm working on a website for it. So I'm getting ready to launch it. Hopefully at the beginning of November, it will be out there for the women to be a part of Girl Thrive mentorship program.
I love that. I love that. Listen, we got an exclusive here on Kicking It With KeKe about Girl Thrive. So I love it. Yes. So thank you for being here. Thank you for coming to kick it with me. And you said something that I just cannot let go of. And we
Yes,
just gonna dive right into it.
come on, yes, ma'am.
Spiritual neglect.
Yes.
Because when people think about domestic violence and trauma
Hmm.
and things like that, they never equate the spiritual side of it.
Hmm.
Because my sister, she loves God, but she has been around some ungodly people over the course of her ministry, and she is almost coming up into 27 years of ministry. But she
Wow.
has experienced that spiritual neglect by
Mm,
serving and giving and doing, but just being hurt, church
yes.
hurt. So
Yes.
talk a little bit about that before we get into all the things, domestic violence and all of that. Let's talk about the spiritual neglect side of it. I
Yes.
think that a lot of comers or people that's going through their traumatic experiences, they
Hmm.
stay away from the church because of being judged or being called people call it being a hypocrite and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So talk about that spiritual
Yeah.
neglect.
See, I too been in ministry. October 31st will be 21 years that I've been saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. But this journey,
You just gave me chills because that's her anniversary too, and it'll make 27 years for her, the one that was at the event with me.
okay, wow.
Yes.
Yes,
Wow. Okay.
this journey has not been easy. how I end up in the marriage with my husband. I went through something in the church. I love God, and I would serve. I would do whatever that it was needed of me in the ministry. And I went to this particular ministry, and I was serving my elect lady. I was her armor bearer, but her husband, was kind of attracted to me, and so he used to say certain things to me, that was inappropriate. And so I guess he thought that I was going to go and share this with her. So he began to lie on me and saying that I was coming after him, that I wanted him. And so all that played a part of, that. And so I began to, after that, it was like the pastor wife began to change on me. And I didn't know the reason why she was changing, and was saying that I had a Jezebel spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And but God had gave me a vision. That's, I'm telling you, God would give his people a vision. He gave me a vision what was going on and what happened, and that she was going to say that I had a Jezebel spirit. And so it was a prophet that I used to talk to in my home church. This wasn't the church, my home church, that I was going to when all this happened. And it was a prophet. She said, I see you in that church, and I need you to get out of that church because I see you're fighting in that church. And I was like, okay, God, I'm going to leave this ministry. But I was lied on. I was talked about in the pulpit. I was scandalized. And I'm like, God, listen, if the Lord told you I was your armor bearer, you should know my spirit. So I think that was the thing that broke me the most, because you should know my spirit. You know that I'm not out to get your husband. You should know my spirit. You should know my character. And
Mm-hmm.
so it kind of dampened me, and it pushed me out. I was like, God, I'm done with church. I'm through with people in church. I'm not going back to church, and I stayed out for a period of time, and God began to deal with me. He said, I did not hurt you. It was the people. So he began to minister to my heart. But during that time, I was still kind of like in my rebellious stage. I was like, I'm not going back to church. I don't care. I don't want to deal with fake, phony people. And
Mm-hmm.
I end up marrying, someone who God didn't tell me to marry, because, of course, I didn't want to be in sin. I was like, I don't want to be in sin. And I ended up marrying a drug dealer. And so my life went kind of like a down spiral. But I
Mm-hmm.
thank God for his saving grace, that he saved me out of all that. I thought I wasn't going to be able to come back from a low place. I was really in a dark place, but God really put his hands on me and brought me out of that place. And I'm able to sit here today to say now I'm a pastor's wife, going on 5 years that God has blessed us. If God can do it for me, listen, he can do it for anybody. He can do it for
Absolutely.
anybody. He can do it for anybody.
Yeah, I love that. And it's amazing how you have to go through certain things. God
Yes.
allows his people that he's called and chose to go through certain things to
Yes.
equip you with that armor, that
Mm-hmm.
thick skin. Because I'm not in the ministry, but I've been there with my sister along the way, and it's hard.
Yes.
People, they don't, it's hard.
Yes.
So ooh,
Yes, it
I
is.
commend y'all.
It's hard. It is. It's hard. And you have to still love the people. And I thank God for the maturity that he had brought me to. Because
Mhm.
at one point I'm like, I'm not praying for them. They hurt me. Like, God, I'm not doing no. But it's a peace in it when you begin to pray for your enemies. He tell us to pray for those that despitefully use you, abuse you, and so it's
Mhm.
actually a peace, and it pleases God at the end of the day. And that's all I want to do, with my life, is to please the Father. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, ladies of light, let's talk about that. What prompted you to start that organization? Because more organizations that are catered around those types of experiences and
Hmm.
redefining ourselves after trauma, because I think we've all been through some type of trauma at some point in time. We just
Yes.
don't have like a safe space to
Yeah.
go and find the healing through that trauma. So, what prompted you to start that organization?
Um, I noticed when I came to me and my husband, we got married, it didn't really have a women's ministry. And I was looking at some of the ladies and out there, and it was like they need something more. than just church services. They need something more like a intimate setting. And so I went into prayer, and he gave me the name for the women's ministry. So it was through birth through prayer that God gave me Ladies of Life. We shorten it for LOL. We say LOL. It stands for Ladies of Life. And he gave me that just to help, the hurting women. That's what I like to cater to. Um, Hurting women, broken women, abused women, those that just need a hand up, not a hand out. Sometimes you just need a hand up. Somebody just push you in your back and tell you, girl, you got this. You can make it. It is not what it looked like. I know it may be rough right now, but you got this. And I always say, because I didn't have that in ministry, I really
Mhm.
didn't have nobody to pour into me like that. So I want to be that person that I longed for when I was coming up in ministry. I wanted somebody to pour into me and to encourage me and pat me on my back and tell me, you got this, or to adjust my crown if it tilt to the right or to the left. And I want to be that individual to help to do this, to do that for these women. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. And I wish nothing but continued success for that. And I
Thank
want
you.
to dive into, you said that you went through domestic violence with your first relationship, your first marriage. How has that experience shaped your view on domestic violence and advocacy? What makes you want to be an advocate for domestic violence to help other people overcome it?
Um, because in the midst of all that, it's like your voice be stolen, your voice is silent, like you don't have a voice, you don't have nothing to it's like the enemy robs you of your identity, your self-worth. Um, it's so much in that area. So I want to be able to help women to rediscover their voices, that let them know that you have a voice. I don't care what happened, your voice is needed and your voice is necessary. Your story is needed and your story is necessary. So I want to be that advocate for women to let you don't have to shut down, you don't have to shrink back, you don't have to be in fear, um, just to help them to rediscover their identity after domestic violence, because domestic violence don't define who you. It's just a part of your journey, but it don't define you. It's a part of what God has for you, but it don't define who you are. So I
Mm,
want to be able to help them to get through that part, to the light of the tunnel. Yes, you went through this, you just went through this for somebody else. You went through this to be a testimony that how God can bring you out of a domestic situation. Yes.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, how do you maintain that positivity? Because I know it was probably a dark time that you went through, and sometimes you probably go back to those places. And did you? Well, let me ask you this: did you ever question God? Why me? Why am I going through this?
Yes, on many occasions, I'm like, God, why me? And even I can say, even in this particular marriage, at the beginning, and I know he wouldn't mind me sharing this, at the beginning of this marriage, we went through some things, and I'm like, God, this can't be you. I don't understand why I'm going through this, or why I'm dealing with, and I had to catch myself, because I'm like, it seemed like it was a pattern from my old marriage I see in the beginning of this marriage. And so I'm like, questioning God, asking God why. But it was some things that God had to show me and to make sure to get some things out of me, to redirect my perspective about marriage, and to really see who this man is, that he's not my ex, he's not that man. He is his own man, so God had to reshape my perspective, on this thing. And I just couldn't, oh, listen, that's a whole other topic,
Yeah. Yeah. So in the midst of it all, like fast forward to now, how do you maintain your mental and emotional health every day? Like what is something that you do to stay in a good headspace mentally and emotionally?
I like to journal. I really do. I like to journal. And prayer and worship is my therapy as well. But I like to journal. I have to journal. Sometimes I have to journal some things down. That is my way. I think I stay positive, and also just to pour into. I do Wellness Wednesday with Ladies of Life. I give them a quote. I give them life applications, and they have to apply this to their life. So that's something that helps me to stay mentally, insane per se. To help me to stay, on top of things. And don't get me wrong, I have to catch myself sometimes. And the Bible tells us that we have to renew our minds daily, and we
Daily.
have to cast down imagination. So I also put that into play in my life, like casting down these negative thoughts or whatever try to come up and attack me, just casting stuff down and putting the word of God into play in my life, my everyday life, actually applying the word of God. But I love to journal. I love prayer and worship. Those three gets me, through it. And also when I hear that little 4-year-old voice,
Yeah.
that little 4-year-old voice that call me mama, listen, my day could be going horrible. When I get on the phone with her, it just brightens up my day. So and I thank God for giving me her, because she be knowing when mama need it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. And I think we all need something that can help us overcome like the adversities that we face. Whether
Yes.
it's, just having a bad day at work or experiencing trauma and things like that, broken relationships and stuff like that. So I journal. I teach journal to my clients.
Hmm.
For someone who may not want to journal, is there
Hmm.
something else that you can like give to them to do? Because on this podcast journey, I realized that a lot of people don't have a prayer life. A lot of people's faith is not where ours may be. And a
Hmm.
lot of people don't understand what they don't understand. So they may not understand the power of words, writing things down.
Yes.
So, what is something that you would suggest if they don't want to journal?
Mm. If they don't want to journal, I would say they will have to find a safe person, someone that they may can trust, to be able they can share their vulnerability with, someone who they can be vulnerable with. Um, that's for those that don't really like to journal. Sometimes just talking it out. If you can't write it, talk it out. You got to release it some type of way. If you can't, do it with writing, talk it out with somebody.
I love that.
Yeah.
A safe person.
Yes.
Y'all, if y'all are listening, she giving y'all some nuggets today. Dr. Ashley has spoken. Find that safe person. You know
Yeah.
at least one person in your life that makes you feel safe enough to come and share things where you don't feel judged
Yeah.
or, just listening and not paying attention to actually what you're saying. So find
Yes.
that safe person. It could be that little 4-year-old that comes into your life that brings you joy. They ain't gonna say nothing.
Right.
Mama, you all right? Okay. And you talking and they just making you smile and stuff like that. But I love that safe space and I love the safe person where you just talk things out because holding anything inside can be detrimental to your health and bring about more things. Because stress is a silent killer. Let's just be honest about that. And we just want to make sure that we are being healthy, mind, body, and spirit as
Yes.
much as we can, because going through certain things can break us.
Yes.
I've been there where I didn't love myself and I went through a lot of things. It wasn't physical, but it was mental, it was
Hmm.
emotional, it was financial.
Yes.
And I don't wish that on anybody to go
Yes.
through the things that I didn't even realize that I was going through it until I was actually looking at myself in the mirror one day and didn't recognize who I was. And I'm like,
Yes.
wow.
Yes.
But I thank God for the one relationship that I have never not had. I've always had a relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I didn't think that he was there, he has always been there. That has been
Yes.
a constant.
Yes.
So, to anyone who is listening, if you don't have a relationship with God, have some type of relationship with somebody that you trust who can talk. that you can talk to, who
Oh
will
yeah.
listen and not judge, listen and be silent. Because sometimes you
Yes.
don't need to talk and they just need to listen,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
Um,
And
let's
this.
talk about how friends and family can best support someone who has experienced or is experienced some type of trauma or domestic violence, because I know I've had friends to tell me I didn't share this because I felt like I was going to be judged. I felt
Mhm.
like, I nobody was going to be able to understand or
Yeah.
help, because people say stuff because it sounds good. Well, why you there? Why you staying out? If it was me, you don't
Yeah.
know what you're gonna do until you're in a
Right
situation.
into you in that situation. Yes.
So, how do you feel that family and friends can best support someone that's experiencing some type of abuse? Let's just not talk about the violence, abuse, period, or
Hmm.
trauma.
Um, my thing, I would, for family members that are dealing with individuals that are going through certain things, I would say you have to be that listening ear and not be judgmental. Because being judgmental can damage the situation worse than what it is. Don't tell me what you would do, and you never been in that situation. So, just being that listening ear and asking God to give you wisdom on how to deal with individuals or your family members or friends or whomever it may be that are dealing with this situation. Because sometimes you can say the wrong words at the wrong time as well, and it can
Mhm.
cause damage. So you want to be, very wise with your words. When you're dealing with people that are broken, they're fragile. You want to be very wise and just, you don't want to add the gasoline to the fire. They would say you don't want to do that. You want to appease the situation and make them feel, like they're in a good space. That you are there, that you really care for them, that you there for them, you showing them the empathy and and all that. So I would say definitely use wisdom, as a family member, a loved one, that they can come to be able to share that moment that they're having. I didn't have that person during that time, but I thank God now that He sent me someone that's in the church. I can share, I can be vulnerable with as a pastor wife, you know. And just to be, just to share those moments, without the judgment. And it feels good, you
Mhm.
know, you don't have nobody judging you. Oh, you supposed to be a first lady and you think like that. You know what I'm saying? Just to
Mhm.
have that individual to say, girl, I understand, just listening and not casting judgment is one of the most that's number one in my book, being that good listener and not casting judgment, asking God for wisdom and how to deal with individuals that are going through that situation.
Absolutely. I totally agree because it's a small window
Yes.
when you're dealing with someone that is going through some type of trauma or domestic violence or any type of abuse, because if they feel in 1 second that they have
Yes.
shared too much
Mm-hmm.
or you're not listening to
Yes.
understand, they'll never open up again. And
Right.
then you'll never understand what they're really going through because they're not going to say anything.
Yes.
So we have to lead with that empathy and compassion
Mm-hmm.
and not being judgmental
Yes.
and acting like you have always had it together.
Yes. That's the thing.
I don't
Yes.
understand. And that's one thing about
Yes.
the spiritual neglect.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand that I haven't always been on this
Mm-hmm.
walk.
Yes.
You have experienced life and you
Yes.
may not want to share what you went through, but you have gone through some things that you probably could share to help
Yes.
somebody else overcome what they're dealing with or not
Yes.
feel alone when they're going through it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I'm not so quick to judge, because especially the children that are teenagers that are coming up now, because I always put myself in their shoes. I'm like, I
Mhm.
was a teenager once before. I used to do exactly what they was doing. I used to sneak out my mama house. Come on, I used to smoke marijuana. I used to do these things. So
Mhm.
I don't cast judgment now. I try to, when I talk to them, I'm a substitute teacher as well. And so when
Okay.
I'm at the school, God allowed me to share my story with these individuals, and to to try to help them. Listen, you don't have to go down that path. I went down that path, but I understand where you at.
Mm-hmm.
I understand, not casting judgment. I definitely understand. And so it just, just not judging. um I can't judge nobody because I've been there. I've been wrong. The Bible said we all have sinned.
Yep.
So, I can't point the finger at them or anybody, because they say when you point this one, you got 3 point back at you.
Yep.
So I can't point the finger at nobody, because
Right.
I done did some crazy stuff in my life. I have did some crazy, and nothing but the grace of God have brought me out of these crazy decisions that I made, in life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad that you say that, because someone is listening and they may feel like that. You're not alone. Your vibe will attract your tribe. And if you're looking for someone to talk to, you know, just whisper a prayer and say, God, give me somebody, to send somebody.
Yes.
Whisper their name in my spirit so I can know. Just
Yes.
have them call me out of the blue. I talk to people on a daily basis, and I listen to so many people's stories, and I'm like, what? You ain't even calling about this. What are you talking about? But I found myself giving them that compassion, because some people don't have family and friends that they can talk to. Some people
Yes.
don't talk to people unless they have to have a call, make a phone call.
Yes.
So we have to have that empathy for one another. And I want to ask this question, and it's a question that we all as a community can come together, because it takes a village to help other people
Yes.
overcome their journeys. Um, has there been any particular resources or communities that have been invaluable to you, like since going through your first marriage and then becoming your first, becoming the first lady in your second marriage? Did they have like the resources when you were going through it before that you didn't know about or couldn't get to get out? Or did you even seek those types of resources when you were going through it the first time?
I didn't seek the resources, and they probably had them out there, but I did not seek the resources. I'm pretty sure they probably did, but I did not seek those. Sad to say, I probably should have, but I didn't. Um, yeah, I did not. I did not. No.
Okay. I mean, and that's real, because I've had other overcomers on the show, and they said that sometimes they went to the resources, and the resources they didn't have anything for them.
Wow.
So it's like, I'm coming to a place that says, come to me when you need help,
Wow.
but yet I can't get the help because you don't have the resources for me. Although
Wow.
you say you're the resources center, where are the resources? So I
Wow.
think a lot of women and men stay in situations because the resources are supposed to be there. When they go seek them, they're not. So they're just at, what am I going to do now? I might as
Wow.
well stay,
Yes.
because if I leave and they find me, it's going to be worse.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced when you decided to leave that abusive relationship?
Um, well, when I left, he was in jail, and I think kind of some of the backlash from family members, even including some of mine, would say, "Well, why would you leave him? He's in jail," blah blah blah. And I'm like, that was God's open door for me to get out of this situation. That was an open door for me to get out of this situation. So you left him while he was at his love. No, I helped him while he was in there, but I knew that it was my opportunity to get away, from this situation, because I knew God had greater for my life. This wasn't life, and I know God had greater. So I did receive some backlash from family members for this. So I had to overcome, and plus we had a child together, my baby child. Um, so I had to overcome the backlash of family members, mine including his,
Mhm.
saying some certain stuff. Yeah, that was one of the toughest things. Cause I'm like, y'all supposed to be on my side, like my family. I can understand his family, but my family, y'all supposed to understand. Y'all done seen everything I done went through, what this man had put me through, XYZ. Y'all supposed to be, what I'm saying? But it wasn't like that. It was like, oh, you shouldn't have left him because he was in jail. You did him down bad, and no, this was my open opportunity, my open door to get out of this situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't blame you for getting out, because when God speak, you got to listen, because God can
Yes,
give us everything that we need. And you just like still asking, but he looking like it's right there.
yes,
You got to pay
yes,
attention. So
yes.
reflecting back, what advice would you give your younger self?
Um, Wait on God. Oh my God. I would tell my younger self, listen, don't try to take matters in your own hand. Wait on God. Sometimes we feel like God is he's not moving fast enough for us. I would tell myself, girl, wait on God. Wait on God. Be patient. Because we can do some things in rushing. Listen, could have been. We're gonna need a whole nother session for this one.
Right,
But waiting
absolutely.
on
But I
God.
love that, wait on God, because if you wait on God, you don't really open yourself up to things that you really shouldn't have to go through. Sometimes it don't be God, it's us putting ourselves in certain situations. And we try to blame things on the devil and God at sometimes, and we just have to take ownership and say, no, it was neither one of them, it was me.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. Definitely
This is
wait.
good. This is good. All right. So you said that you were an author as well. So tell
Yes.
the people about your book, our books. I'm not sure. How can
Yes.
they support or purchase, and where, and all the things? Go ahead and tell
Well, I got my first journal. My first book that I wrote is a journal, 31-day empowerment journal. It's called My Jesus Experience journal. You can find that on Amazon. It's on Amazon as well. And I think I have. Well, I'm getting ready to relaunch my website, so it's going to be on my website as well. And the website is Ashley C. Thomas Enterprise.com, and they'll be able to purchase that book. I've written my first ebook, Crowned It in Prayer, a wife intercession for her husband. That book will be on that website as well. And I also have a children's book I did. It's something like a pre-K, those that's going into pre-K, like a little learning book. You can write, they learn how to write their name and trace the alphabets and all that stuff. So it's that type of book for the children. But I am also working on another book that's getting ready to come about. And I'm not gonna share the name just yet. It's just I you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and share the name with y'all. Y'all gonna get the name of this book. It's called Pain from the Pulpit. And it's gonna have a lot of these things that we was talking about on this podcast on today. It's gonna be in that book. So be looking forward for that book. Hopefully at the end of this year, I will be launching that book, Pain from the Pulpit. Pain from the Pulpit. That one right there is that one right there had me in tears.
I listen. I'm over here like, oh.
Yeah, so and I hope y'all, support when that book drops. Hopefully at the end of this year it'll be dropping. Pain from the Pulpit. So, and it'll also be on the website ashleycthomasenterprise.com.
All
Um
right. And all of the information will be in the show notes, guys. So you don't have an excuse. I will be connecting with her so we can make sure that we support her when the book drops.
yes.
Pain from the pulpit.
Yes.
I can't
And
wait to read it. We're gonna bring you back and we're gonna have a book discussion.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, absolutely. So, is there any closing remarks, words of encouragement, empowerment, or all the things for the listeners who are tuning in with us today?
Yes, listen, I want to let you all know your pain doesn't define who you are. It only shapes who you are, but it doesn't define who you are. Your trials doesn't define who you are. It just comes to make you better, better version of you. So whatever you're dealing with, whatever you have gone through, knowing that God will use whatever pain for your purpose, for your destiny. So whatever you have to deal with, know that you're not by yourself, that there's somebody else is going through it worse than you're going through it. And the Father is always with you, no matter what you're dealing with. He said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Know that God is there even when you can't feel him, even when you can't trace him, he is there. And I always was told that the teacher is always silent during testing time. And it may be a season of testing, and he's just silent right now. But he's watching over you. He's watching to see, how you're gonna overcome this situation. So listen, be strong in the Lord, be courageous, and know that you are powerful, that you are somebody, you are created in the image of the Father. And it's a beautiful thing that you're created in his image. You got the power in your mouth to decree and declare your atmosphere. You got the power to create, to change whatever you're dealing with. And that God has given us that power on the inside. But just know that you are not alone. Your story is for somebody else.
Absolutely. I love, love, love that. The teacher is often silent during testing time.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love it. I love it. And thank you for coming to kick it with me today. This has been amazing and
Thank
amazing
you.
conversation.
Thank you for
Amazing
having me
conversation. Yes.
so
So
much.
tell the people one last time how they can connect with you on social media, how they can, I got the website, all of that will be in the show notes, guy. But if you want to connect with Dr. Ashley on social media, she's getting ready to give her handles now.
Yes. Okay, you can follow me on Facebook. It is Ashley C. Thomas on Facebook. On Instagram, you can find me. It's underscore lady underscore Ashley underscore Thomas and underscore. And I also on Instagram I have Girl Thrive. I want to say it's Girl Thrive 41. So Girl Thrive 41 on Instagram. So you can connect with me like on those three platforms that I have.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Again, guys, all of this will be in the show notes. And I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for coming to kick
Thank
it with
you.
me. It has been
Yes,
amazing.
ma'am.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Kicking It With KeKe, Life, Love, and all that other shit. I am your host, and I am back on Thursday with another episode. Make sure that you tune in on your favorite podcast streaming platform. You can also watch us on YouTube at Kicking It With KeKe Media on YouTube. So until next time, purple hugs.
Yes.
Later.
See you later. Thank you.